Welcome back to another installment, another video on ECIO. This video is the first part on the introduction to using ECIO for mergers and acquisitions as well as divestitures. So the business case on why we're doing this particular video is we want to demonstrate how ECIO can support these types of initiatives. We want to try to provide living examples of artifacts and checklists, as well as some lessons learned on what you need to do to be prepared when you're undertaking these types of programs. We'll show you how to cross-reference your own operations to the potentially new operations, blending in the cultures the people like. We'll also show people assessments and retention strategies, how to go from day 0 to day 2 operations on that. So part of this is, in our background, is the individuals kind of working on this one have been directors of our global enterprise infrastructure, director of project control and service management with Sanmina SCI, with Flextronics, looked at some of the financial aspects, network and telecom, as well as transition agreements put into place as director of network and telecom on that. Also, other facets that kind of leak into it include the IT due diligence within tying in M&As. We had undergone under Sanmina with 65 M&As and divestitures over the brief time that I was kind of associated with the organization. How it leaks in, ties into SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley, and your DRP and BCP plans, your disaster recovery and business continuity plans. One of the things we've done is we've broken up the videos to make them a little easier to review. There may be more details that can be found in some of those supporting videos, and we'll identify those when it's appropriate. Now, the other thing is, let's show you some of the literature that we have done, or some of the background in the books that you can pick up to look at a little bit about how to do M&As and the like within it. And so we've taken some, besides our own environments, and besides our own environments, some case studies from some of the leading books and like. And I would encourage you. I have these ones, so we'll just do a search. Mergers and acquisitions. So here's a couple of books that we have that I would highly recommend. We'll go into that. So when we click on that one, it obviously brings up our artifacts. We haven't put in all the components to it, but if you do click on the shopping cart, it'll actually go into and bring up the Amazon site for the book, and you can order the book on that side of it. We're working on trying to get that through our ECIO site to make it a little easier for you, and then you can see some of the components that are used to it. But we'll reference the book in some of the work we do, and then you can, again, if you pick up the book, you can see a little bit of a working example, and then the narrative on how those things got put into place. You can find out about. So we did a search on that side. So one of the first things that we want to try to do is in fact show you how to set up your own mergers backend database. So we'll bring this up. What we've done is we have this backend in place. This one here, we're just going to change it, and we'll bring up the appropriate backend. You can copy the backend for your own use. You see the examples, work through this, and then you can generate your own backend for each of the specific mergers and acquisitions, rename it so that you can protect it a little bit, and then you can kind of go from that side of it. There are ways to take some of the literature, export it and import it into your various backends on this side of it. So this is we're now running under the backend specifically that's going to be used in the following tutorials and videos on that side of it. So you can actually, when you go through those tutorials, right, you can actually get those put into place and within that one. So I'll just go back to our site here. So the next thing is some of these tutorials and videos that we're using. Here, obviously, we're doing part one, which is just a general introduction. Some of the ones cropping up we're looking at is lessons learned and retrospectives. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Goals, objectives, metrics, estimations, evaluations. Part three, roadmap and blueprints. And in some cases, we may release some of these in different order than what we have here. Deliverables, playbacks, catalogs on that side of it. So that also includes status reporting, health cards, report cards, artifacts, documentation, checklists, and some of the questionnaires. Roles and responsibilities, committees, organization structures that you may want to put into place. That may be including the IMO, your Integration Management Office, functions as well on that side of it. Part 7 is framework scoring models that would tie into TOGAF. If you have in-house models, methodologies, we'll show you how you can put those in and do some comparison, how you can trace on those. Part 8 is reporting communications, strategies, etc. will be explained. Risk and issues, so we'll come up with a set of standard kind of risks, what you need to look at, just to give you some insights. There's a risk taxonomy that may be more specific to the M&As, so you'll be able to look at. For part 10, strategies, governance, alignment, how you tie in your customer relationships. So there's a small CRM component to ECIO that you can use, that you can kind of trace and follow up on it if the company you're acquiring doesn't have it or you don't have it on that. On budget and financials, we referenced that earlier. There's contract, vendor management, your TA, your transition service agreements. We'll talk a little bit about how you go through that. Oh, excuse me. Part 12 is actually architecture, asset tracking, PMO, includes applications, master data management, how you can use your CMDBs, etc. on that side of it. And then part 13 is requirements and business analysis. And then you can track those, put those into place and manage that. So there's a couple of other topics that maybe we're going to include, including change control, as we mentioned, CMDB on that side of it. So that is a quick overview on how to, on the upcoming videos for how to use ECIO for your M&A and divestitures initiatives on that side of it. We'll be getting into much more detail as we go through each of those parts. Please feel free to use, and when you get a copy of the back end, copy it for each of your particular M&A initiatives. That's what it's geared up for. It's a boilerplate, and then you'll be able to use the questionnaires. As always, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to email us at support@eciosolutions.com or visit our site at www.eciosolutions.com. And we look forward to hearing back from you. So that concludes this session. The next video, hopefully, we'll be talking about part 2 on some lessons learned and retrospectives from others and our own experiences from conducting M&As. And that concludes this session. Thank you.